Hello and welcome to Left Ahead. If you were to climb the Empire State Building and make $1 million for every step you took, you would reach the final 102nd floor with $1.8 billion. Or just about 1% of Jeff Bezos' net worth. When we talk about the ultra-rich, we're not talking about your doctors or your small business owners. We're talking about the Waltons, the Koch brothers, and the Bill Gates of the world. These people uniquely wield unfathomable power. The power to manipulate public opinion, bribe politicians, and circumvent most laws that the rest of society must abide by. I learned from the book The Divide, American Injustice in the Age of the Wealth Gap by Matt Taibbi how the rule of law bends to different classes of society, stringent against the poor, especially poor blacks and immigrants, and simultaneously practically invisible for the rich. In New York, Brooklyn cops will systematically stop and frisk blacks for fitting the description and charge them with blocking pedestrian traffic, while a couple blocks down the street, hedge funds go completely unregulated. So managers like Bernie Madoff can skate past SEC complaints and run Ponzi schemes that caused over $50 billion in losses for upwards of 30 years. We're lucky that Madoff's fraud was uncovered by the '08 financial crisis because it's not often that people that wealthy meet justice for their crimes. The leaked Panama Papers taught us that the wealthy class rampantly engages in tax evasion by hiding their wealth in offshore havens. But do you recall ever hearing any consequences for the people who are implicated? Any changes to the tax code to avoid these loopholes? Me neither. If you ever had the thought, if I were a billionaire, I would pay all my taxes and use my money for good. 1, you're too nice to be a billionaire, sorry. And 2, I have the perfect game for you. It's this web browser game on itch.io called You Are Jeff Bezos. It's a text adventure where you magically wake up in the body of Jeff Bezos, aka the greediest man in the world. The goal of the game is to spend as much of his money as possible, starting from his bonkers net worth of $156 billion. In this utopian dream of the Samaritan billionaire, you wield the power to actually spark the societal progress you want to see in the world. Here's a partial list of what I was able to accomplish by spending his money. End homelessness in the United States. Hire 100,000 new teachers and provide for 4 years of their salary. Double every Amazon employee's salary. Abolish the Electoral College. Fix the Flint water crisis. Build 10 new public libraries. And finally, pay personal taxes. In another billionaire fantasy game called Spend Bill Gates' Money, you have the objective of, well, you know. I was able to go on a massive shopping spree and come away with a beach house, 100 yachts, 10 skyscrapers, an F-16, 7 mansions, 10 rockets, the Mona Lisa, 3 passenger jets, 2 cruise ships, and a majority of NBA, NFL, and MLB teams. Damn. At the end of the day, nobody needs a second yacht, let alone 100. But everyone needs basic human necessities like food, water, shelter, and healthcare. Taxing billionaires out of existence is not only the moral thing to do, but also the most rational. Reinvesting their absurd wealth into public goods and services like education and public housing would raise the country's floor and produce long-term benefits. Our economy would be more prosperous if more people were able to participate in it instead of sleeping on the streets, living paycheck to paycheck, or rationing their insulin. The reason you don't hear about the immense wealth gap in America more often is because corporate media outlets like CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News are run by billionaires who have a fiscal incentive to protect their own interests. If they were to run headlines like, "Empty houses outnumber homeless people 6-1, they'd be acting against their main interest, which is preserving their bottom line. We're at a point in the timeline where we can rectify decades of unchecked profiteering by the billionaire class. What we need is a concerted effort to tax them out of existence and circulate that money back into the economy, where it can be productive instead of collecting dust in an offshore account. If you want a healthy economy and a healthier population, let's tax the fuck out of billionaires.